guys, welcome to episode 118 of the We Are Yarn podcast. My name is Amanda and I am your host, and welcome to the floor of my craft room. I have quite a bit to say to you today, surprisingly, so let's get going.
I'm going down to the drugstore, buy a big old skeiny yarn. I'm gonna knit me a kitten, even if you don't give a darn.
Alright, first off, thank you so much again for your congratulations and well wishes. We did find out that we are having a little boy in Casa de Way. I'm thrilled and nervous about it, I guess, all at the same time. But a boy, think blue, yay. And everything's going along peachy. Still sick, but that's going to be, I think, the story for the duration. So, let's see. The last time I spoke to you was right before my beach vacation in Destin, Florida. Fort Walton Beach in Destin. We had a great time. Apparently I forgot to put sunscreen on the top of my feet. And between metal detecting, we rented a metal detector and went out on the beach. We found a spoon. And some bottle caps because people are litter bugs, and 15 cents. But it was a good time. And so we did that, and we went to the Eglin Air Force Base to their armaments museum, and that was a lot of fun. It's a very interesting place to go. I have a cat in my lap. It's a very interesting place to go if you're ever in that area. I do recommend it. I learned a lot the first time I went without my husband, but then having my husband who knows something about planes, I learned an awful lot. But yeah, and while I was there, so we metal detected, and then after that afternoon, Paul took a nap, and I sat on the balcony and watched the people and spun, and the tops of my feet got so burnt they were purple. Guys, it was... I've never seen anything like it. I thought I'd been burnt before. This was crazy. But, so that was a good time. But let me show you the things I have finished. Most of the things I've been working on I have finished. So, first off is the hat that I was making for my sister-in-law. The requested hat to match her shawl from Christmas. And if you recall Gail's art, the sweet Gail already had some DK. I thought this pattern was written for sport. It was written for DK, so I'm glad I got the DK. Can you hear that? This is too much. He's adorable. Adorable. So she already had some DK dyed up in the cardinal colorway, so here it is. This is the hat. And I haven't woven in my ends because that's how I roll. But the one on the cast on edge I wanted to show you, I don't know if you can tell, I may not even have to close it up. When I am, you'll be able to see better on my next project. When I am, guys, pregnancy brain has slowed my speech down so much. When I'm casting on in the round, instead of casting on and immediately joining, I'll do a row back and then knit back around and then join it in the round. That way I have a little bit more substance to be able to see that I'm not twisting it. So that's how I do things now. And that's where I joined it. And you actually, because of the nature of the brim, it curls up. So you can't even tell there that it's not one full piece. So I knit this the small size because I wasn't real sure. I think my head's a little bit bigger than my sister-in-law's. I think my head's pretty big. I don't know what that says about me. But so I made the small size and made the semi-slouch. And as you can see, it's still, I haven't washed it yet. It's still pretty darn slouchy, and I think she's going to be really pleased with that. I don't see her as a super slouch hat kind of woman. So I thought the first level of slouch would be good. So that's that. But now she's having a little girl in 2 months. I have this little bit of leftover from her shawl, and this little bit of this leftover from her hat, and I am planning on, for her baby shower in May, making her little girl a little matching maybe shruggan hat or something, if I can make it stretch that far. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that's that. So that's the drizzle. That I didn't tell you anything about except Gail's art, the cardinal colorway in her DK base, and that pattern was the Drizzle by Melski. That's the second time I've knit it. It is a really fun knit. And guys, can you still hear this cat? This is too much. He's just so sweet. He's so sweet. He loves his mama. Alright, the second thing I finished, I just cast off today, is the April Showers, which was just released, I believe, last week or the week before. Yeah, I've been working on this 2 weeks. So now I started on the 13th. So yeah, the week before the 13th is when she released it. But, so Caffeinated Gert released April Showers. It's a hat. Here it is. It calls for DK, and I used this hand spun. This is from, this is yarn that I spun in 2011. It was from fiber from Space Cadet Creations. Her custard and rhubarb colorway. I don't even know if she's making it anymore. But I decided it had marinated long enough. This was my very first Navajo ply. You can really tell because the colors all bunched together. So I'm really excited about this. I did have a couple of mods that I used. The first time I tried to knit it out of a different yarn, and it just wasn't working. The colors and the pattern and the way it was pooling. I usually don't mind pooling all that much, but this was really contrasting pooling in a spiral, and I wasn't digging it. But I did the same thing here. You can see a little bit better where I did a couple of rows back and forth before I joined in the round. So I will be, with my waist yarn here, with my tail, I'll be closing that up. And this is how it looks. Again though, you can't even really tell that I have that little spot open with my hair back. I look weird in hats with my hair back. But this hand spun. I thought it looked pretty DK when it was in the skein, but once I got to knitting it, it really looks, I think it's more of a worsted. So if you decide to do this pattern and you have a really nice worsted you'd like to use, I think this is a great use of it. Because it still works. I used a size 5 for the brim. And because that's the size that I'd used for my sister-in-law's hat, and so it was still on the 16-inch whatever, so I just said I'll use this. So I used the 5s. And then I went up to a 7 for the body of the hat. And that's that. But yeah. It's very warm. This is, like I said, Space Cadet in her rhubarb and custard colorway. And it was on a 50-50 alpaca merino blend, which was gorgeous. I think when I spun it, I had not spun enough to really be able to tell you how fabulous it was to spin, but I can tell you it was fabulous to knit. I'm really proud of this. Really proud. Yay. So again, April Showers by Caffeinated Gert, or Daniela Richardson of the Caffeinated Knitting Podcast. I did work on my Piper's Journey a little bit while I was in the car. It's getting really strangled on this cable. I need to get a longer cable, so I haven't been picking it up a whole lot. I'm still pretty pleased. Last time I said I thought it looked a little rustic, and I really liked that. I'm still enjoying that. And this time I have brought a closable stitch marker, lockable stitch marker, and I'm going to put where I am now so that the next time I show this to you, there's a quantifiable difference. I'm having to get back in the saddle and pregnancy brain. So I'm afraid I want to take it off the needles, because I think it being strangled on the needles, it's making it look like a triangle, and it's not. Quit chewing on that. And it's not supposed to be a triangle. So either I'm doing something wrong. I've been meaning, but I want to take it off the needles and see. Let's see. I am doing it wrong. I have been knitting this wrong the whole time, guys. I've only been doing one yarn over on each. I'd read somebody said she did her yarn overs on opposite ends. I've been doing this very wrong. Yarn over, one yarn over, two times. Yeah, oh wait, no. Knit across each yarn over one time. And all wrong side rows. Yeah, I've been doing this completely wrong. Completely wrong. That's awesome. That's how much I have left of my first ball, and I've been doing it wrong. So this is going to get ripped out. This is the look of disappointment. This is what I get for starting something when I didn't really feel real good, and I thought it would be easy peasy, and making assumptions and not reading my pattern thoroughly. I guess I need to make that note on in my notes here. Fiber's Journey. Getting frogged. I will restart it, and hopefully it'll go really fast, since it's going to actually start growing as quickly as it's supposed to. Oh, guys. Okay, so after that disappointing discovery, let's move on to spinning, shall we? Because I spun on the balcony, and that's where I was getting to with my purple sunburned feet. I think while I was sitting on the balcony, I didn't realize my feet were in the sun and the rest of my body was in the shade. And I was just going to town. And I was out there for several hours. And I'm pretty certain that that's really where the bulk of my burn came from. But I spun. Did I show you guys? Let me look back. I may have shown you guys. Yeah, I showed you where I had started the Fiber Nymph Dye Works. One of her fluffy bumps of joy in the Malibu colorway. It was BFL, Falkland, and Firestar. Had a grand total of 2.75 ounces. And I have not measured my yardage, but this is how it turned out. Can you still see? Are your retinas searing? I'm pretty pleased with it. Let me find a good spot where I can kind of stick my finger under there and show you a couple little bits a little more closely. So I spun this long draw and two-plot it, and I think I probably could have. I'm beginning to think that I am a serial underplier. Whenever I look at my yarn in the skein, it always looks underplied to me. And there you go. So that pink is blowing the camera out. It's wild. It's so hot pink. I got down to the beach though and realized that all I had were my bobbin, my one bobbin that was full of bat number 1, and bobbin number 2 for bat number 2. and I wanted to ply them together. So you see the problem, I needed a third bobbin. But my husband is super crafty. I had thought I could manage to make a bobbin out of the bottom of the cups from the hotel, a straw. Yeah, I thought I could do that. And my husband was like, no. So we ran to the Kmart and bought some, excuse me, and bought some poster board and super glue and scissors, and he made me a bobbin to put my one of my bobbins full of fiber onto, just so I'd have a third workable bobbin, since this just had to sit on the Lazy Kate, which I also had left at home because pregnancy brain. And I made a Lazy Kate out of, we had stopped at the Publix and gotten some sodas, so I used the box the sodas came in and some straight knitting needles that I had in my car and made a Lazy Kate. So that's the fun story of us fashioning, sitting in a beautiful hotel on a beautiful beach, fashioning me a homemade bobbin, which mostly worked. So that was my Neon April contribution, my contribution to Neon April for the Caffeinated Knitting Podcast. I did get some souvenir yarn while at the beach. I stopped at the Destin Yarn Shop. It rained a little bit while we were there, and one day we went to the, we drove down to the outlet mall since it was not really fantastic weather, and did that, and then stopped at the Destin Yarn Shop on the way back to Fort Walton, and I discovered I had been gifted the handbrake pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast, and so I purchased this to make that. So this is it was very reasonably priced, and it feels so nice. So it's 30% llama and 70% cotton. It's Plymouth Yarn llama cotton worsted. I got 2 skeins to be able to make, I'm hoping, a nice size shawl or a nice size cowl. This makes 218 yards. I didn't really read the pattern super closely. I just saw that it called for 220 yards, so that's what I got. But I think that'll be nice, and it'll be nice. It's a fun color. It's a fun, happy color for the beach. It was a fun, happy color for spring, and I think that cotton will make a real nice, soft, warm, but not over warm cowl for the springtime next year. I also, because it's what I do, I like to occasionally stop in at Tuesday morning and just browse and see what they have. And the last time I was there, I discovered these little guys in the crafting section. They're basket frames, and it says use yarns, ribbons, fabrics, or raffias. So I'll take it out and show you. So that's what it looks like in the package. In the back of it, it shows this doing that, right? Okay, rustling, I'm warning you. So I can make it open. But they have pictures on the back of someone using it to hold cookies in. Like they've laid a little piece of fabric down and put cookies in it. One person's holding little scraps of, I don't know, she's put candy in it. And I thought this would be a fun way to use little leftover bits of, you know, yarn, like I said, fabric, but scrap yarn is really what I was thinking. So, I got 2 to a pack, and once it gets all bent up, you can kind of see what the size is going to be next to my head here. It's about the size of my face. It's a pretty good sized little basket. I just thought that was super fun. So I wanted to share that with you, that exists. This is a thing. Forms to make baskets. Okay, so, and the bottom of the basket, obviously after you wrap your yarn around it, or fabric, or I think it's supposed to fold up this way, your yarn or fabric or whatever, the bottom is still going to be just that plain yellow. And it looks like they show you, they have a pattern on the inside of the package to show you how big it is on the inside. So you can cut out a piece of coordinating fabric and line your bottom. How long have I been talking? Just 20 minutes. And I've pretty much told you guys everything that there is to talk about. I was about to ask if you had any questions, but I can't hear you if you do. If you have any questions, feel free to visit the Ravelry board, We Are Yarn Podcast. I'm going to put I'll put it up later. And ask me your questions there on the thread for this episode. You can leave me a comment at weareyarn.com in the comments thread for this episode again. I'm on YouTube now. And you can leave a comment there as well. I tried to search myself on YouTube and We Are Yarn did not pull it up. I had to type my name in. My name is Amanda Gibson with a B, and I think that may find me easier. Or my email address is mandy@weareyarn.com. Can you search by addresses? I don't know. I just pretty much click through to people's YouTube videos. So maybe I'll give you guys a link from, I'll talk to my webmaster husband and ask him if he can put a little link on weareyarn.com so you can find it on YouTube easier, if that's your jam. So I guess that's it. A quick little episode. I thought I had a lot more to talk about. Thanks for being here with me and supporting me when I learned that I had indeed been doing my Piper's Journey wrong. And I will see you next time. I'm sorry I'm not on a real solid schedule again yet, but I hope to be there soon. It is Thursday, and Thursday is my usual recording time, so maybe we'll do every other Thursday. Because I'm still not knitting as much as I was. But I definitely need to get back and get you guys up to date on that Piper's Journey. So I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for joining me in the floor of my craft room, and happy knitting. Bye.
I just can't wait to finish. I got the kitten knitting blues. No, I just can't wait to finish. That's why I got those kitten knitting blues.